What is up, people? Phoenix here again. Yesterday, I was told by an angel in my dream that this video is going to be unexpectedly popular. Please don't make the angel a liar. Give this video a thumbs up and maybe share it with your friends. Over my tediously long life, I've found most angels to be quite trustworthy. So why does the camera keep focusing on Henry Kissinger? Stay away, Kissinger. Here's Kissinger right here. Last Friday, I made the overambitious decision to learn Portuguese in just 1 week. And I promised myself to study for at least 7 hours every day. It turned out the challenge was cut short. I've studied for only 6 days. And I did study for at least 7 hours every day. And because I want to publish this video over the weekend so that you guys can see it, it was quite a week. It was a very tough week. It was like the Marines crucible for language learners. But I've learned a lot of things. I mean, before the week, I had very little knowledge. I had zero knowledge in the Portuguese language and very little knowledge about any Portuguese speaking country. I mean, I knew Brazil is the biggest country in South America. It's a quite young democracy, but that's pretty much it. But now I have a pretty decent amount of knowledge on the geography and history of Brazil. It's the first time that I knew that Portuguese is actually spoken in a handful of countries in Africa. Yeah, so first thing first, I'm gonna show you guys the result. As I promised last week, I took a class online with a native speaker of Brazilian Portuguese this morning to test my speaking. I took the class on Italki. By the way, if you are learning a language and you haven't used Italki, you should definitely check it out. It gives you access to native speakers all over the world at a pretty low price. For example, my class this morning only cost me $5. So if you want to work on your speaking or if you have questions about any language, you should definitely check it out. If you use the link down below, you can actually get a $10 discount on your first purchase. Yeah, so without further ado, let's check out how it went. Oh, by the way, after the result video, I'm going to talk a little bit about how I studied Portuguese, my experience with the language, and my future plans with it.
Olá, como você está?
Tudo bem, e você, como está?
Tudo bem, tudo bem.
Tudo bem? Então, e me conta uma coisa antes. Qual é o seu nome?
Sim, eu vou apresentar-me. Meu nome é Phoenix, em inglês. Eu sou chinês. Agora estou nos Estados Unidos estudando relações internacionais.
Que legal! Mas você quer conhecer o Brasil?
Durante essa semana de estudar português brasileiro, estudado a geografia e história do Brasil um pouco, pois agora eu tenho um pouco conhecimento sobre o Brasil. Há muito para estudar, mas
Assim, uau, eu estou impressionada, porque você está estudando português apenas uma semana.
Sim. Estou fazendo desafio, sim, para gravar vídeo, desafio de aprender durante uma semana a língua portuguesa. Sim, o Brasil é país muito gigantesco, pois os sotaques muito diferentes e isso se faz muito difícil também. Por exemplo, o sotaque de Rio de Janeiro.
E você então estuda vários idiomas? Quais você estuda?
Tenho estudado idiomas asiáticos, por exemplo, coreano, japonês, e também idiomas europeus, espanhol, francês, isso. E que mais? Dialetos de chinês. Você está também aprendendo italiano?
Sim, sim, estou aprendendo italiano.
É difícil ou é mais fácil para você?
É mais fácil, assim, eu posso compreender bem, mas eu não posso falar tão bem.
A pronúncia de português é muito diferente com o espanhol. Uma língua muito nasal.
Sim,
Sim.
sim.
Conjugação,
Adjetivo,
sim.
muito nasal.
Os pronomes, por exemplo, você, é pronome você, para mim parece a língua medieval.
E você já ouviu falar do pão de queijo?
Sim, pão de queijo, quero comer pão de queijo também. E você, de Minas Gerais, é muito famoso com pão de queijo, não?
Sim, o pão de queijo foi inventado aqui em Minas Gerais.
É verdade, quero visitar Brasil em futuro.
Sim, com certeza, você vai gostar muito.
Sim, pero com isso, o coronavírus e tudo, vai demorar muito tempo.
Você está indo muito bem.
Obrigado.
Por nada.
Espero falar com você mais em futuro.
Sim, sim, com certeza. Estarei por aqui. Muito obrigada.
Tchau.
Tchau, tchau.
Yeah, so that was my level of spoken Portuguese as of this morning. As you can tell, I'm far from fluent. Still, there's still a lot of fillers, still a lot of but I can understand a fluent speaker pretty well. My teacher didn't have to slow down for me a lot. I can understand a fluent Portuguese speaker, both Brazilian Portuguese and Portuguese. And I can watch a lot of stuff on YouTube I can't understand perfectly Portuguese movies and TV shows because they use a lot of slangs. But in terms of like a class lecture or things like that, I can understand pretty well. Oh, by the way, I watched a lot of videos about Portuguese history and geography on YouTube, and there's some very good ones. For example, I watched a video called 500 Years of History in 50 Minutes. I definitely recommend that video. I'm going to put the links down below, along with some of the other good videos that I've watched. They don't have Chinese or English subtitles, so if you have studied Portuguese for a certain amount of time, you can check those videos out. In terms of studying, I made a very detailed plan about grammatical studies before I started this challenge, but it turned out it wasn't perfect. I missed out propositions in the Portuguese language. I thought it was going to be identical with Spanish, but it turned out it's quite different. So yeah, there are situations where you want to use one proposition in Portuguese, but in Spanish you use another. But in terms of conjugations, it's pretty similar with Spanish. There are some pronouns that are used in Portuguese that don't exist or don't exist anymore in Spanish. And there are some other trivial differences. But generally, they're pretty similar. So if Portuguese is your introduction to the Romance language family, it might take you longer to learn, but it's not extremely difficult. In terms of vocabulary, I think that's the fun part. As of now, I have 912 words in my vocab list, but I actually know way more words than that because most Portuguese words are identical with their Spanish counterparts or very similar. So I don't add those words to my vocab list. The bummer is that there are a lot of what they call false friends, right? They may look very similar or even identical, but they actually mean very different things. For example, the Portuguese word brinquedo, which is toy, I think. When I hear brinquedo, I think of something that jumps because, or jumped, because it sounds like the Spanish word brincar, which means to jump around or jump up and down, right? But actually, yeah, they're very different. They have almost completely unrelated meanings. Another interesting point about the vocabulary difference between Spanish and Portuguese is that some words that are masculine in Spanish are actually feminine in Portuguese and the other way around. For example, cup in Spanish is copa, but in Portuguese is copo. Copo. And copo in its masculine form in Spanish actually means a flake, like snowflake or rice flakes, things like that. So, and also a lot of words that are used in Portuguese now are not used anymore in Spanish, but did exist in medieval Spanish. For example, in Portuguese, girl is a menina. It's actually medieval Spanish. If you look at the most famous painting in Spanish history, Las Meninas by Velázquez, the exact same word. But this word in modern Spanish is shortened to niñas. It sounds similar, but it's not the same word. And things like this, details like this, actually allowed me to have a better comprehension of how the modern Spanish language came about. And also with my knowledge in Ladino, which is a language, well, actually just the Spanish that the Sephardic Jews took with them when they were expelled from the Iberian Peninsula in 1492, where Cristóbal Colón brought the Spanish language to the Americas. Now I have a much better understanding of how the Spanish language came about, and I think I have a pretty clear picture of what the spoken language sounded like in the late 1400s, early 1500s, when Queen Isabel and King Fernando reconquered Granada from Muslim hands. Yeah, so this week was a lot of fun. It was pretty exhausting. I got way less sleep every day. My sleep schedule is completely messed up, but I learned a lot of stuff. It's the first time that I learn a language at such fast velocity. I'm definitely gonna keep studying Portuguese. It's a very interesting language, a lot of great literature composed in the language, and a lot to read about histories of other Portuguese-speaking countries and regions. Macau being one of them. I might read something in Portuguese about Macau and other African countries like Mozambique, Angola. So I'll keep studying Portuguese. And also I'm thinking of doing a similar challenge in the future when my brain recovers from this intense studying. Maybe I'll do something outside of the Romance language family, something more challenging like Dutch or Afrikaans, or maybe even German. But German has a case system, so it's way more difficult. Or maybe something even more challenging like Hebrew or Hindi, languages that are drastically different from the ones I know. So it will be impossible to learn them in a week or to even learn the alphabet in a week. So I may do a 1 month challenge or things like that, just to encourage myself to study, because it would be absolutely crazy to say that you will be able to speak fluently any of these languages in just 1 month. It was very fun. It was a lot of fun this week. This week was a lot of fun.
我操！没想到我说的这么烂。